On the phone is part of our WyoPreps Game of the Week here. It's chosen by you folks, the fans out there. It's Bighorn hosting Torrington in a big two-way East Conference showdown, and I'm visiting with Kirk McLaughlin, the head coach for the Bighorn Rams. And thank you so much for your time today, Kirk. First of all, let's talk about the adjustment for you guys. I know you guys have had a heck of a run in Class 1A. Now you opted up to stay 11-man football. What's the adjustment been like going into the 2A East so far?
No familiarity with these teams. We haven't seen some of these teams since we were 2A back in 2016. So trying to get familiar with what these teams kind of do and learning, every week, got a new team to face. And a lot of these teams have new coaches, so they're doing completely different stuff. We're adjusting to our opponents, but, we're trying to adjust just within our own team as well and learn. We have some big shoes to fill from last year's team, and we've been working on our personnel and trying to figure our own team out. So, and then throw on these new teams we've faced some really good teams so far. It's been kind of tough, but I feel like our kids have been working hard, and we've gotten better every week.
How would you assess the 2-2 start thus far?
Definitely the first two games were a little hard to take. It's been a while since we've been on the losing end, but we also learned a lot from those situations, and they were humbling experiences, and we kind of got us refocused on what we really needed to do because we knew we had to step up this year because there was a lot of unknowns with 2A, who was going to be tough and who could we compete with and who were teams we knew we could get. Those first two games, just definitely humbling.
So what are you focusing on with your team right now? What are you and the staff trying to, really emphasize to the kids here as you're into the meat of your schedule now?
One, be disciplined. Be disciplined on and off the field. Make sure on the field we're executing our calls and being where we are supposed to on each and every call. Always working on leadership, making sure we're developing good leaders out there. And, every week we have kind of a different leadership topic we're kind of focusing on, and we're just trying to stay healthy and get better every single week. I know that our play from even going back to our 0-week game with Buffalo to where we are now, we're a much better team. So continuous improvement, that's for sure.
I know you've always kind of predicated yourselves on really running the football, and I know maybe you're not quite doing that as well this season, but throwing the ball, looks like your new quarterback this year, Cooper Garber, has done a nice job for you. What have you seen in his development as a first-year starter?
Cooper's a great kid. He's interesting. He's got the same demeanor. No matter what's going on, he's got the same demeanor. Whether it's a great play or a bad play, you get the same kid. And, we've had a few of those sophomore moments where we make sophomore mistakes, but I've been very happy with how he's played. Even the first game he started against Wheatland, who's a good team, he came in and he did some really good things, and we've seen some improvement. We've kind of learned on what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are, with what our playbook should look like based around what he can do, and been really impressed. So he throws a great ball. He's a big kid, but mentally he's done a really good job just handling the situation being a starting quarterback.
Flip it over to the other side of the ball. What have you seen from your defense? And it looks like you're kind of led right now by Sean Walker and James Richards on that side of the ball. What have you seen out of them?
James Richards has been a great leader for us. He's brings a lot of the excitement, and he's kind of a hype guy for us, but he's also our hardest worker. So he brings a lot of energy for our defense. Sean Walker's stepping in, replacing Cutler Bradshaw from last year, and he's doing a really nice job. Really smart kid, almost some things sometimes, but he's gotten better every week. So those two are my inside linebackers, and they've done a great job. Our D-line's kind of getting better, a little bit more aggressive and playing more physical lately. And then defensive backs, we've kind of been doing the shuffle. We've been shifting kids around, trying to find the right fit on who should be where. And we feel every week we're a little bit closer to where we should be in the defensive backfield. But we're trying to do some things a little bit differently with our personnel. What we found is moving up to 2A is that we're the smallest team every week. So we've got to do things to adjust for our lack of size.
Well, you're still right there, tied for second in the conference right now. As you look at some things, does this game against Torrington kind of really start a big stretch for you guys, a key stretch, Kirk?
It is. We've talked about with Torrington's win over us in Sundance last week and with our opportunity to play both teams in the future, it's like we have a chance to still come out of the East number one. So we've got to take full advantage of the opportunity that we have this coming week and have a great week of practice and give Torrington all we got.
Speaking of the Blazers, what do you see out of Coach Steinmetz's squad?
Oh, dynamic group. Offensively, they've got a lot of great weapons out there that they can spread the ball. And they do so many different things that they're hard to plan for. And then they have a big O-line, big, aggressive O-line, number 54 for them, the stud. So offensively, you got to be ready for anything and everything. Defensively, we really think their defense is really what is carrying them. Not that their offense isn't good, but their defense is outstanding. Again, they got that big defensive line, and then they have athletes all over the place making good plays on defense.
So what do you got to see out of your squad on Friday night at home to give yourself a chance in this one, in the first ever meeting between these two programs? Because I know you guys have spent a lot of time at 1A and 2A, but they've been primarily 3A until this year. What are you looking for out of your squad, not wanting you to give away a game plan?
We got to limit mistakes. That's kind of been our problem with the first 4 games is we make too many mistakes, too many turnovers or too many costly penalties, and we got to limit those. I've told the kids that we will have mistakes. We just got to limit them and not let them affect our on offense, get us behind the chains or turn the ball over and give them good field position. But on defense, just have guys where they need to be and making the tackle when it comes their way. But we've got to come ready to play. Torrington, that was kind of the thing coming up to 2A and seeing that they were coming down. I was like, I didn't know what they were going to bring, but I knew they were the 3A state runners-up not long ago, so that they were going to be good at our level for sure. They've proven to be a good team, so we got to be disciplined and not shoot ourselves in the foot, because if we shoot ourselves in the foot, they're too good. We'll get behind and we'll struggle for the duration of the game.
With that, Kirk, I appreciate your time. Best of luck in this first ever meeting between the Blazers and the Rams. Have fun on Friday night at home.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call.
On the phone with me is the head coach of the Torrington Trailblazers, off to a 4-1 start on the season. They're 3-0 and leading the 2A East Conference right now. Russell Steinmetz in his second season as the head coach of the Torrington Trailblazers. And, Coach, thank you so much for your time today. First of all, talk about your team off to the 4-1 start and undefeated in conference action thus far. What have you seen out of your squad in this start to the season?
We played a lot of young kids last year, so we played a lot of sophomores up in the 3A East. And this year, they're juniors, and so I think just that experience from last year has carried over. And then we also have some experience on the O and D line, so I think really experience has helped us greatly.
It doesn't look like, from a statistical standpoint, that anything kind of overshadows any part of the game. Do you kind of like that balance, what you're getting both offensively and defensively and in special teams thus far?
Yeah, so far, we're pleased with what we have. I don't know if pleased is the correct word, but we've been happy with our output, in the run game at time, and we've been happy with our pass game, especially from last Friday. Defense has been pretty solid, and then we have some key kids helping us with our special teams in the kicking games.
What have you seen out of your quarterback, Bo Bivens? You mentioned that good passing game. He comes off a big one last week against Upton Sundance that helped you to the victory. What have you seen from him?
He's a competitor for one. He wants the ball in his hands, whether he's running the ball, whether he's throwing the ball. We haven't ran him very much yet, but he is a good runner. He's just competitive. He knows our offense. He's been in the program. This is his 3rd year being in the program, so he knows the offense, and we have faith in him.
What are you looking for when it comes to him distributing the football, whether it's on the ground game or in the passing game to different weapons? What are you looking at from that offensive standpoint?
Just make sure he gets the correct reads. We're still working on reading the correct person and getting his throws where they're supposed to be. Hopefully we get those exactly where we want them with him. He's just a student of the game and really puts in the time, in the off season, before practice, after practice, asking the offense coordinator just what he needs to be doing for the week and for the day.
Looks like you got a little bit of a three-headed monster on defense between Cody Pierce, Cole Perriott, and Carson Schultz. What are those guys doing to be so successful in getting to the football?
Once again, it's just their reads, hopefully making the correct reads. And all three of those guys have great motors. they have great motors, and they also have a great nose for the football and just getting to the football and making tackles. We preach, everybody getting to the football, and those dudes fly around and try to get to the football.
You had a big win last Friday against number 2 Upton Sundance on your home field. What did that show you about your squad in terms of stepping up maybe in a big game situation, Russell?
Yeah, I'm just proud of those kids. Defense came up with some huge stops. We stopped them on 4th down one time going into the south end zone, and then we stopped them again at the end of the game there. But, really why we get those stops is just from our big interior defensive guys out of Dryling and Grubbs, and then also Mitchell there.
Okay. Now you get to go on the road for another big conference game. Has that added any pressure? I mean, I know you probably tell the kids, hey, we don't want to think about too much and too far ahead, but has that added any pressure, Coach, just the fact that you are leading the conference right now?
I didn't even realize we were leading the conference until you said it at the beginning of this interview. So, I don't look ahead. I just look for 1 week. I know right now we're going to get ready to play Bighorn. They're a very physical team, just like we got done playing last week. Very smart, well-coached team. They don't beat themselves, much like Upton Sundance. And then we also have to get off the bus.
Yeah, road trips are always difficult in high school football. I don't care what level you're at. Anything else that kind of strikes you about Coach McLaughlin's squad up there at Bighorn, who's in that 3-way tie for second right now?
No, I think he does a great job with those kids. He gets them to play hard. Pretty assignment-sharp football out of those players, so that's coached up. And just impressed with what he gets out there on the football field as a product. So we have a battle. Once again, like I said, we got to get off the bus, but we're kind of used to traveling, especially when we're at 3A East, or we travel quite a bit there. So we're kind of used to traveling, but sure didn't show on our first road trip. So hopefully we get off the bus this week.
What are some of your biggest keys? I don't want you to give away your game plan, but what are you looking for from your kids?
Defensively, we need to stop the run, and we also need to get sharper in the passing game, get out to our pass responsibilities, get to our zones, check, see who's coming into our zones defensively. And then offensively, we got to get our running game established again, because by doing that, you're going to also open up the passing game.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Best of luck Friday against Bighorn.
All right, thank you.